And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly fantastic day today. So today, we didn't get to it yesterday, so it's time to give thanks to the people who gave super thanks last week. All of you are greatly appreciated. Everybody buckle up because this one might be kind of a long one. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this. First up, shout out to @SnugChamberlain9986 with the $2 super thanks. I greatly appreciate you. Thank you for your continued support of the channel. And he says, thanks, great content as usual. Big ups to you and Angry Old Hoops. Keep doing your thing. I've got 3 questions. Points I like your insight on. Without further ado, let's get to it. He says, growing up in Eazy-E and NWA and the DOC were my favorite group to listen to because they were very relatable for me. And still to this day, I heard a song by one of his former members, Ice Cube, which was Today Was a Good Day. And it made some basketball references in the song and even mentioned playing like Michael Jordan, which I thought was ironic. And I've heard the song a million times. My question is, do you think MJ clearly was the best player viewed at the time, or do you think it was just a part of a rhyme? Because there were plenty of greats still playing. He could have mentioned, but chose to mention MJ. It kind of reminds me of when you said there were a lot of games being played at parks in the 90s and that the setting he's describing in the song. So what do you think? Yeah, without a doubt, I think at that time in the 90s, and see, when did that song come out? It looks like the song came out in 93. So, you know, by that time, MJ was either had just won his 3rd championship or going for his 3rd championship. So MJ was definitely considered the GOAT by then. And so, yeah, I think, you know, again, Ice Cube mentioning basketball in the song, for those of us who grew up back then, like if you can really think back and remember, like I said, basketball was a part of the culture, and that was all stemming from Michael Jordan, from the popularity of the game that Michael Jordan enhanced in a way that we had never seen before. You know, like I said, basketball was in TV shows. You know, Martin, My Wife and Kids, you know, just countless TV shows you can think where they had some kind of basketball scenes. Well, but on Martin, you know, it was a pretty regular part of the show where him, Martin, Tommy, and Cole would be going to play basketball. In movies, you know, again, all the greatest basketball movies to me were in the 90s, and it's countless movies in the 90s, basketball movies. And so, yeah, it was just part of the culture. And yeah, I think the reason it got mentioned in that song is because MJ was definitely considered the GOAT at that time. He was considered the greatest. And again, the thing with MJ is people already thought he was the greatest player that they had ever seen play before he won a championship. He didn't have that title yet, but he was out. People had already said, this is the best basketball player I have ever seen play. So by the time he won his championship, and definitely by the time he got his 2nd, you know, I think the world as a whole, for the most part, saw him as the GOAT. And again, you know, like we say, you know, the amount of games being played in the parks, like you couldn't drive past a basketball court in the 90s and a game wasn't being played. You couldn't drive past a court. Again, today, if I want to go play basketball, I either have to organize a game myself or I have to really know how to find it. But all the courts we used to play at in the city, they're empty. I drive past them and it still shocks me to drive past a basketball court and see not a single soul on the court. But hey, fanboys, that's the LeBron James effect. That's your king. But anyway, let's get to the next question. He says, Why do you think Michael Jordan didn't have a liking to rappers or rap music? A lot of rappers have come out to say MJ had dissed him when they were trying to meet him. Famously, Chamillionaire, but it's a host of others. I think Red and Method Man were brushed off as well. Jay-Z was the only rapper MJ spoke to, and why do you think that is? Do you think it's because they both are billionaires, or do you think he may actually like his music? Because clearly MJ doesn't have the love for the rap or hip-hop community. He was quoted at one time saying F rap. So what do you think about MJ in the rap community? Now that's kind of hard to say. Especially MJ's a little older, and I know a lot of the older generation, you know, I feel like hip-hop is really the generation of ours, you know, the people who were probably in their 40s now, and probably, you know, I say mid-40s to maybe mid-50s. For those who grew up in the 80s when hip-hop was kind of first starting to become prevalent. But a lot of the older generation didn't like rap, didn't like hip-hop. So, you know, Jordan was kind of, you know, Jordan's like 62 now. So he might just kind of be from that generation. You know, my father was not a fan of rap music. You know, he was not a fan of it at all. You know, there might have been one or two songs that I can remember that he actually liked because of the groove of the song or whatever, but my father wasn't a fan of rap music. So Michael Jordan might have just kind of be from that era where a lot of those people saw rap music as the rebellious type music. And then, you know, couple that with the fact that, you know, MJ was very conscious of his image and maintaining a certain image and, you know, and trying to be, you know, especially in the early part of his career, trying to be as much of a role model as possible. But with that one, I think it's kind of, hey, if y'all hear squeaking in the background, it's the fan on my laptop is being ridiculous right now. But yeah, it's kind of hard to say. Like I said, it could be that he's just so image conscious that he didn't want to be associated with anything that could be negative, even though he had enough of that in his career, especially the latter part of his career when, you know, with the whole gambling and different stuff that was controversial. Or it could just be the age range that he's in. Like I said, a lot of people in that age range were not fans of rap music. So it really could be that. But that one would be kind of hard to say. And let's get to the last question. He says, lastly, it's no secret MJ and the Chicago Bulls' greatest season was in 96, but I think the 98 season doesn't get talked about enough. And I think it may be his greatest season to me simply because everyone except MJ were on their last leg, even deep in the playoffs. Some of the games, Dennis Rodman was unplayable and Pippen was hurt. Lonely wasn't the same player. Kukoc was putting breaks all over the place, sort of like how LeBron James is doing now. Harper was on one knee and Randy Brown was a turnover machine. This is who Michael Jeffrey Jordan had to carry to the finals and push all those guys over. No one man is supposed to do that. Can you touch on that and this particular season, and what do you think his greatest season is in your book? In mine, it is 98. I mean, it's a good argument for 98 due to the reasons that you said, is that Jordan really did carry that 98 team to the finish line. Again, something LeBron James has never ever done is truly carry the team to the finish line on his back. But yeah, Jordan truly did carry that team to the finish line. You know, Pippen was a decoy in the playoffs. We all know Dennis Rodman wasn't the same. You know, Ron Harper was on the decline and all these things. However, you know, I still think for me, I will say the 96. Well, yeah. Let me say this first. I'm still gonna say the 96 season, just because everything that had transpired, which is him coming back from retirement, and then, you know, them getting knocked out by the Magic, and you know, if you know the story with Tim Grover saying that, hey, normally Jordan takes a couple of weeks off before training, after the season's over, he said when they lost to the Magic and Tim Grover said, just call me when you need me. And Jordan said, I'll see you tomorrow. And then, of course, we know Space Jam was filmed that summer, and part of the stipulation for that Jordan said was, hey, you're going to have to build me a workout facility so that I can work out and play ball on the set. And so the fact that he was coming back from retirement, and to me, that just really showed the ultra competitiveness, the ultra killer will of Michael Jordan, that, you know, he took that loss so hard that he comes back the next season with the greatest NBA season to date and the most successful NBA season. And again, I don't give the Warriors credit because they didn't win the championship. So the Bulls went 72-10 and hit the championship. And then again, people got to remember the very next season, the Bulls won 69 games. So I would argue that 96, 97, and 98 has to be, you know, possibly the most successful run, or one of the most successful runs in NBA history. You know, and again, I don't disagree with your argument for 98. And I say another thing to help bolster that argument is just what Michael Jordan said himself, is that the last championship is always the hardest. So you got to think that 98 was their 6th championship. And you still have to find a way to dig deep, find that hunger and desire. Because, I mean, you're already as accomplished as any NBA player would want to be. You're already as accomplished as any NBA player could ever want to be. But you still have that need to dig deep and find that mental fortitude to still get over the hump for the 6th time, you know, for the second three-peat. So to me, it's a good argument for anyone who thinks that 98 season is the best. It's plenty of reasons, especially the best season for MJ. It's plenty of reasons to say that. But for me, like I said, I still think the 96 season, just because of everything that was happening, because he's coming back from retirement. They get beat by the Magic. You know, he starts training immediately the next day, you know, according to Tim Grover after that season. And then he just comes back and they just like wipe the whole league. So that, to me, that's just like next level competitiveness, next level dedication to be shooting a movie in the summer and still training that hard. You know, to me, yeah, I think for me, that's still the best season. But shout out to @SnugChamberlain9986 with the $2 super thanks and with the continued support of the channel and always coming through with some great questions to respond to. You are greatly appreciated. Thank you so, so much. Next up, another familiar face. Shout out to Vernon Lee Warren 280 with the $5 super thanks, and he says, thanks, excellent video, brother. I missed the 90s so much. That's when men were men. Congratulations on the fast growth of your channel. Peace. And that was on if LeBron James comes back from 03 versus the Nuggets video. Hey, shout out to Vernon Lee Warren. Hey, thank you so much. And yeah, you know, the 90s, honestly, I feel like the 90s and before the 90s were when men were men. Like, to me, the 90s was the last decade of real men. You know, and I hate to say that, but kind of when the 2000s hit, that's when you start seeing the change. Like, obviously, the NBA still had some great players. The NBA was still great to watch during the 2000s, but you did start seeing that change in the 2000s. This is when a lot of the entitlement stuff first started. Obviously, LeBron James came into the league in 2003. And so, yeah. But, oh, yeah, and I plan on getting to that video you were talking about, the Michael Jordan 6 for 6. Hopefully, I'm going to start watching that this week and doing some videos off of that. But shout out to Vernon Lee Warren 280. Thank you so much for your continued support. Greatly appreciate it. Next up, we have shout out to Danny Mac, 7739 with the $10 super thanks. And he says, you mentioned you have KD ranked 25 or below. I would like to hear you justify this. That's an easy statement to make, but hard to back. That's an easy statement to make, but hard to back up. I agree with almost all of your points about KD, but what 25 players have accomplished more than him? And you know what? I actually may do another video on this because I would really have to think about this. But just off the top of my head, I'm going to tell you why I don't think KD is top 25, because I don't think it's about accomplishments at this point. It's kind of like with LeBron James. You know, is why I don't think LeBron James is a top 10 player, because it's not about accomplishments at this point. It's about the other stuff that goes along with it. KD has been on 3 super teams now, and he only won with Steph. So to me, the fact that he only won with Steph, and Steph won before him and Steph won after him. So the fact that he only won with Steph, and you know, say what you want about LeBron James, because everybody knows how I feel about LeBron James on this channel. Say what you want about LeBron, but you know, he was able to steal 4 championships with his super teams. But KD, he only was able to get 2. He couldn't get it done with the Nets. He couldn't get it done this year with Phoenix. You know, to me, this guy's just, like I said, he's not a real superstar. To me, real superstars, people who are in that top 10 range and probably even going to the top 15, those people have some leadership skills. KD is not a leader. Matter of fact, KD has even said himself that he's not a leader. Like I can't remember if it was an article where he said it, but KD himself has said he is not a leader. And this is a problem. So me saying that KD is below 25, to me, KD is a weapon. So, you know, for me, it's not about the accolades. It's about who would I choose to lead a team. You know, because again, to me, KD's accolades, kind of like LeBron James, are fraudulent because of how they got them. And KD hasn't proved that he could do it since he left Golden State. But yeah, I'm gonna actually do a video on that and really think about, you know, because I'm sure there are 25 players I would pick over KD. But anyway, shout out to @DannyMac7739. Thank you so much for the $10 super thanks. Thank you so much for the support of the channel. And next up, we got shout out to @PhilipAvery9636. And he just simply says thanks with the $5 super thanks. Thank you so much. Thank you for supporting the channel. Greatly appreciate it. And next up, shout out to @Adidas20. This comes from my LeBron James will get his, I said his 5th coach, but it's actually his 4th coach. 4th coach as a Laker video. And he says, Phil Jackson got lucky twice with Bulls and Lakers. In fact, the year before he coached the Bulls, Chicago took Detroit to 7 games in the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I actually thought the year before Phil got there, they took Detroit to 6 games. And then when Phil got there, they took him to 7 games. And that's when Scotty had the whole migraine thing happen. But yeah, I mean, facts. It's like, again, to me, it's really the players that make the coach. And if LeBron James was as great as people say he is, then we would be saying he had some great coaches because his play would have made them great. But we all know LeBron James is not coachable. And I guess more importantly, we all know that LeBron James is nowhere near as great as he thinks he is and as they say he is. But shout out to @Adidas20. Thank you so much for the $2 super thanks. Greatly appreciate it. And last but not least, shout out to @QQ810 from 2 different videos. One was the LeBron James will get his 4th coach as a Laker video. And the other news was breaking news. LeBron James and the Lakers are officially a joke now video. And he comes through with $10 super thanks on both. And he just simply says thanks. And thank you for the $10 super, well, $20 in total super thanks. Thank you for supporting the channel. I'm so glad that you appreciate the content. Thank everyone again. I always have to say thank every single last one of you who continue to support this channel. Like I said, I really can't put it into words, but thank you guys for commenting, for liking the videos, for sharing. You know, thank you guys for the insightful comments that you leave. Like I said, when I started this channel, I almost considered it more like a barbershop talk. And so, you know, it's kind of where you just trading information, so to speak. And so I feel like, you know, as much as I get on here and try to say insightful things, I definitely pick up a lot of insightful things from you guys. And in the bonus, you know, we get to laugh at these ridiculous fanboys along the way. See, a few of you have been kind of showing back up. You know, you guys are welcome. You know what's going to happen. You know what it is here. It's not going to change. So, you know, I guess maybe it's time to get the fanboy files back rolling again. But anyway, we gonna hold up here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about any of the topics that we covered today. You all have a truly, truly fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.